many thanks to the organizers, fellow speakers, and all of you guys for coming out here today. Actually, the last time I spoke at an event with Chris Hedges was for the 10-year anniversary of the Afghanistan war during Occupy in Washington, D.C. So I'm excited to be part of this event with him today. I know he's on his way. In November 2012, about a year after that actually, I was watching a Sun news program where they were discussing two women in Canada that were being accused of being Islamists. And I remember hearing the news host ask the question, well, what should we be doing about this? What should Canada be doing about this? Implying that they were a national security threat. They were talking about me. My crime was protesting Canada's military involvement in my home country. Now you might be thinking that's not a lot to go by to earn the label of Islamist, but I also happen to be wearing a scarf on my head. That's how easy it is to be called a terrorist in Canada, apparently. My name was criminalized based on that, and that information alone. Completely disregarding the fact that I've had zero involvement with any terrorist group or advocated for any terrorist group. So the problem that I have with Bill C-51 is not that it's anti-terrorism. It's because there are fear-mongering agencies in Canada that are redefining the definition of terrorism. Now, this is especially a drastic concern for the social justice movement, for environmentalists, for the Indigenous community, and for the Muslim community, all of whom I stand in solidarity with today. And if I can speak boldly, if we're going to talk about terrorism based on the very root of its meaning, then the first people they should be going after under Bill C-51 is the Harper government. I'm glad you agree. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've never killed, oppressed, or tortured anyone. And I really can't say the same for them, for their policies, or for their allies. Islamophobia is a growing problem in Canadian society. But the Conservative Party is not alone in ostracizing the Muslim community. Remember, it was also the Liberal Party who voted for Bill C-51. And recently, Justin Trudeau claimed that the BDS movement and Israel Apartheid League has no place on university campuses. But at the same time, he has the gall to go to mosques and to talk about discrimination against Muslims. So, to quote the words of Trudeau himself, yeah, enough is enough with liberal hypocrisy. You say you're disappointed, I'm downright disturbed. Also, recently there's been discussion about dress code for Muslim women. You may have heard when Alexander Boulris said that the NDP is against the wearing of the niqab, sharing Harper's sentiments. What I'd like to know is what other NDP leaders have to say about this and how they're going to respond. Because my initial reaction is stop policing women's bodies. flawed version of liberation. Please don't use my body and our bodies to justify your oppression. Overseas or domestic. Instead, how about you worry and focus on the missing and murdered Indigenous women in Canada. The Canadian government is not the saviors of people of color and third world countries when they can't even respect the rights of people in this country. We all know that one of the issues that influenced the anti-terrorism bill is the recent development of ISIS and the growing fears of a threat to Canada.
American made.
It's a popular topic and everyone seems to be talking about it. So let's talk about it. Because fewer people are discussing the series of events that led to the creation of ISIS. So here's a reminder. The illegal U.S. invasion and war in Iraq. The mass murder of 1 million Iraqi civilians. The contamination of depleted uranium by the U.S. military, causing the rise of Iraqi birth defects and cancer to this day. The imprisonment, rape, and torture of countless Iraqi prisoners, many of whom were simply looking suspicious. For those who don't know, Camp Bucca was the U.S. prison where 9 of the top ISIS commanders met. The Washington Post called it the birthplace of ISIS. So, some of the worst crimes against humanity took place in Iraq. Before ISIS, under U.S. occupation, one of Canada's allies. Let me ask you this. How many times has Prime Minister Stephen Harper mentioned the U.S. government for the role they played in the creation of ISIS? Not once. Not once. By now, I believe it is one of the world's biggest open secrets that much of the radicalization in Islamic countries has been strongly influenced by Western intervention. Any argument that focuses the blame primarily on an entire group of people and their religion is just simplistic. And of course, Islamophobic. So, are we having a much needed dialogue about terrorism and ISIS? Yes, but it's not an honest one. Because you can't have accountability without transparency. So back to Bill C-51, it doesn't just violate the Charter of Rights, it also violates the Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the UN, which Canada adopted. Now, normally when you hear about violations of basic human rights, you might think about conflict zones and third world countries. Well, Canada just added itself to that list. So the next time you commemorate Human Rights Day, maybe light a candle for Canada. And I don't think I need to point out the irony of someone who was born in Afghanistan having to say that. So the onus is on you and me to hold the Canadian government responsible for their actions. If you believe it is wrong to attack your rights and freedoms, if you believe it is wrong to attack movements that fight for Indigenous, environmental, and social justice, then please stand against Bill C-51.